Welcome, everybody. Welcome to BeoTalk 281, and a Merry Christmas to all.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
As per usual, like and subscribe and all that jazz. If you want a guaranteed answer to your question or topic, or feel very Christmassy, super chat goes a long way. uh, I guess I'll do some shilling. Go buy something at Skinny Play, get 10% off with the promo code. It's still Christmas, but you don't have to do Christmas if you're a curmudgeon.
Mhm.
And or if you want Willy Space, I'll arrange it that you get an extra 10% off.
No, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that.
And you come join the Discord and that sort of thing. And also check out my last interview with Mr. Anderson if you haven't yet already. It's
Yeah,
one of, we're gonna do probably more than one, at least two. He said
I would hope so.
he said he'd be back, so yeah, a very nice chap, fun to host him. As a start off point, I think we covered quite a fair few things.
Yeah, but also in a time frame of 1 hour, it's very hard to cover everything that you want to ask because there's so much more to ask.
Yeah, we also came up to the hours. So the fun thing was, right, like when initially speaking to him, I told him like, how about an hour? Like if we go quicker, it's fine, but if we go longer, then at least we have some time. Maybe we can go over if you're not too busy. Turns out he had to do stuff, and then all of a sudden he was like, "Oh, we're at the hour. Wow, that went fast."
Yeah, I did. It did go by fast. I watched it. I was busy that day. I didn't even realize till it was too late. You guys did the interview. I
Yeah,
couldn't chime in anyways, but yeah, it was a very well constructed interview, I guess, for the questions. But there's still more questions that I have regarding not just the app, but
same, but I tried to do it like sort of 60-40 kind of deal because I
Mhm.
put out feelers on Reddit, on the Discord, on BeoWorld. Like, does anybody have a question? Like I don't have an NL-ML converter, so it's like a
Mhm.
problem I never run into, right? Like that sort of thing. Or I don't have radio subscriptions that you used to be able to load into your B&O app and then listen to.
We just live our ordinary piano prescribed life.
Yeah, I guess, but like
So do
also
I.
if you have, I don't know, let's say you have a bunch of headphones, you never run into it. Plus, he's the app
Mhm.
guy, and I feel some of the questions we have are more hardware product software, right? Like,
Or network link related. I don't know if they are, if
yeah,
that's part of their department,
it's
right?
sometimes hard to tell where the actual issue is because, like I asked him, like
Mhm.
you're essentially making a remote, and like, how do you know if the control actually gets
Mhm.
received in the way you intended?
Yeah. Yeah, Craig, I got the 28s for the Christmas. I got them home from the shop. I didn't buy them, but we'll get into those in a bit. We'll get into those in a bit. And I got some Lego, yeah. It's
What
it's
Lego?
it's Christmas. Ah, fuck. I'll go take it out. I got the John Deere logger, so
Oh,
that's
that's the
gonna
most
get built.
Canadian thing ever.
Well, that's the only one I don't have, and I'm not buying for $900. I'm gonna wait till it goes on sale at least. The big crane, and it's just too big to put it here. So this also is gonna be already too much. But I'll be building it while I'm listening to the 28s while I have them here in different configurations. And I have to say, they are basically two different speakers in one. If you have them running without the theater or with the theater, or let's say with
A TV.
a TV system or by themselves. they're much more boomier by themselves. Like it's completely. I haven't yet. I just set them up and I ran the default tune of what the microphone thinks per se. I haven't had a chance to do play with it yet because I got them yesterday after. Like I got home at like 5:30 and I set them up and I just fucked around. And yeah. Anyways, they sound great though in this apartment. Like it's a small room. It's basically equivalent to what the listening rooms are in Denmark. It's about the same. It's about the same dimensions. So they do sound good, but they're way too boomy. Like even
I've been telling you.
turn off the loudness. They're overpowered. They're definitely overpowering. But then if you play them with the theater, that overpower disappears.
Yes.
They just become a normal speaker.
Yes. And that's what I've been saying for years now. There's a massive duality in them.
Yes.
Whereas in the sort of BeoSound mode, they sound way different than in the speaker mode. But even in the speaker mode, it's still a bit there. So I prefer them at like -1, -2 bass. Also, I mean, a byproduct of doing that is that your ABL limit goes up by reducing the bass.
It's very noticeable after 65 volume
Yeah.
when you run them in stereo mode, which also I've had issues stereo pairing these speakers at clients' homes.
Yes.
Every time we did an install, I took them out of the shop. They are on the app, on the network connected, and they, self-updated to 3.31 in the store. I brought them in here. I didn't even fucking reset them.
Mm-hmm.
And I connected them on a network, like, because I added them in the app. I connected them on the network. And then I paired them. They harmonized immediately. And then I first I set up and I said, activate the WISA module, right, to power link with the TV.
Yeah.
And then I did the other one, link with the TV, but I also paired them so they harmonized, so they were a stereo speaker. Then I turned on the theater. It found the first one. Then it had a trouble. I think it crashed like 3 times, but it did finally take the second speaker on WISA, which I was very surprised because I could never get this going in the shop. Maybe because it's a ubiquity network in this apartment that it just, I don't know, network's fine. So I connected that all, and then I just started listening to them in stereo mode, which kind of sort of makes sense if you're one of those that, are green savvy and drive an electric car and you're concerned about the planet.
Well, it makes more and more sense in Europe where you pay like 45 cents a kilowatt hour.
But that's probably what makes sense there. Not here, but it makes sense to just have them in the stereo mode while you have everything else essentially powered off, right? Because if you do listen to anything, even if the theater is not playing, it's still consuming power because it's doing all the processing plus the WISA and blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
Which is still going anyhow in all the speakers. The only one that's truly off in standby is the Beolab 11 because it's on a transmitter, which is always on, listening for when to turn on, right? Like all the rest of it. So that being said, if you run them through the theater in a stereo mode, they are a completely different speaker.
Yeah, they sound much better.
They sound much better. They sound much better on the theater alone. And I also, that fucking social mode pisses me off because it keeps defaulting to it, which is sad because what do you set this to, man, every time, right? And then once they're in a WISA mode, you can't go in the app and check what the fuck are they on.
No,
you can't.
You need to be in the app already and then turn the TV on and then it's grayed out and you see it swapping over.
But which preset then do you select? Because I just did one, right?
Yeah,
Preset
that's
one.
optimal narrow, yeah.
So and that's what it should be. But when they start playing in stereo pair mode, then they, for some reason, go to speech. Not is it speech?
Social.
No, not even. Yeah, it is the speech.
I think you can set that up as a default under advanced, how it starts up.
Yes, but then it's only like preset 1, 2, 3, whatever. I pull up the app.
Yeah, 1 is narrow optimal, 2 is social wide, and speech is wide, I think, too, from memory.
Yeah, it's optimal social speech, narrow.
Yeah, so
and then I have optimal narrow and optimal wide, which I made, which is 4
yeah,
and 5.
then set it to 5.
So that more or less follows. But if you go to the sound on the remote, it only says narrow and wide. It doesn't read all the rest of the sound modes.
It should. Have you paired them to it?
Yeah, I paired this remote to it. It doesn't show it. On the sound, it only shows narrow and wide.
Huh.
Nothing else.
Is that because they're off, or is it also when they're playing?
It doesn't matter.
Because that should update, if I'm not mistaken.
That's what I was assuming that would happen, but it did not.
Because I'm pretty sure it does show on a Halo.
I don't have one here.
The more reason to get a Halo.
Well, I'm not keeping those.
No.
And I now see why. But they're not a bad speaker. I'm not saying they're a bad speaker,
no.
but they are. I don't like the bipolarity of them. That they're two different animals in one. If there's, it's very hard to stereo match them. Like unless, and I'm talking factory settings, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I ran the room compensation on their own, and then I ran the room compensation with the theater to include them in the speaker preset or listening position. But I just don't like how they are so different sounding from themselves alone than with the theater, or even with we had them with Harmony 83 in the shop as a demo right now, right? They were the front speakers. I took the fronts. I wanted to get the silver ones just because they would look nicer, but I took the anthracite because sometimes the way that they're plugged into those B&O walls matters more than the color you would like to borrow. Because fucking, I'm not taking this entire display and shit apart. No, because these are also not fun to plug in and out.
No. God, there's so many boxes and things and bits and parts and.
But just by the remove that goofy wishbone, you still have to take the grills out and the main front cloth, right? So you can get into the little nibbly screw to undo that.
And you can get to the power cord, which is like god awfully placed.
But you know what though? It makes sense because I had ran these with like a whole bunch of cat cables in them, right?
Yeah.
Like link in between or whatever, or from the TVs. So it's easier to stuff everything into that wishbone or whatever, or not wishbone, but that spine. But yeah, it just sucks that the design does not allow for it. Maybe they tried it that you can just slip it on and then click it in, but it just like these pins would break off. I don't know, maybe make that out of metal instead of having that, to screw in through the inside of the speaker, which you have to then dismantle, 30% of it.
Well, you also run into vibrations and things, right? Beyond how often do you do it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, with the amount of bass they produce, I think you pretty much need that screwed down, not just clicked. Because if you are off by a few mil, which still would be clicked in, you're going to have rattles like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the early ones rattled like crazy.
Yeah, no, there's no rattle in that. But what I noticed that if it's playing Deezer on their own, they like fall out, not from sync, but they just like the music momentarily stops and then they keep going. I don't know if you've experienced that or not, but That's hasn't happened today, but yesterday was going on for some reason. I don't know if they were just like settling into the network or whatever. You know,
Hello, friend. I'm not so sure about you yet.
hi everybody on this place. You know, fudge. So, but yeah, they are. The imaging on them is insane, as well. Like the narrow mode, but I have them towed in, and you have to have them towed in more or less if you really want to enjoy them. Like people that put them straight, I understand in a wide mode and it's a whatever. But if you really want to like get the best out of it, I would suggest to just have them towed in and sit more or less in an isosceles triangle,
But isn't that
equidistant.
the same for 90s and 50s too,
It's for
essentially?
everything. It's for every
Yeah.
other speaker too.
Especially
But
on narrow mode.
yeah, on the narrow mode, yeah, it's really I fuck man, I was listening to them in stereo mode, and I was looking into like, is the theater on? Because it sounded like the center channel in the theater was actually turned on. I'm like, there's no way, like it's just stereo paired. Yeah, they do image insanely well for what they are. Knowing the insides of them as well, it's insane.
I still think they're fairly pricey now compared to what they used to be.
I would agree. I would agree because if you consider, you know, these versus the eights, for what these are now, I would rather buy two pairs of eights and a 19.
Yeah, you probably still have some money left over.
But that's where I would go. Well, you buy a core because you can't run uh, four pairs of eights
Well, even so, you probably, if you buy two pairs of anything, you probably already have a theater or a harmony.
or that.
So, I mean, you can connect it. And like, I think we keep on saying for years now, which I think B&O is forgetting slowly, like the TV is still the thing you build around. Like
It always has been. Yeah.
there are people that obviously don't want to go that route for like price or other reasons, which I understand, but I think the majority still goes around a TV of some sort.
It always does.
Yeah.
Not many people buy a set of speakers and they just have them in the room with books and shit in it, and they go in there and sit and listen to it. There's usually a TV of some sort somewhere within that space.
So
Maybe I'm wrong, but
you can. How much is a 19 now? Here in the US, a 19 is 4,750. 18s are 5,500 starting, so that's 16,000, and it's 16,250 for a set of 28s.
yeah, 28s are a lot of money in Canada.
Same here. I mean, they're 16 grand US.
Mm.
It's not
No,
exactly.
they're a great speaker, but I don't understand the duality of them. That I don't think that should have been there.
No, but eights are quite good as well. Like I don't
Oh,
think
eights are excellent.
I don't think you're actually, depending on the size room you have, you're actually missing out on all that much. I mean, they go equally low, maybe not equally loud, but if you
I'm
can,
sure they won't that loud, but
if you can
still.
substitute that with the 19, I personally like the bass of a 19 more than 28s.
28s are a very Beolab 5-ish sounding to me, as
Yes,
far as the bass.
they're kind of warm and very upfront in bass, and
But cumbersome,
yeah. I mean, again,
at
if you
least.
if you don't have anything else, right? Like this is what I've always kept on saying. Like if you just have 28, I would happily buy another set because there's no A/B testing if there's nothing else in your room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you started with 28s, I would keep on with 28s.
Yeah, but if you have, I don't know, 50s or something, I personally wouldn't put 28s behind them.
No. No, I'd probably go with the 8s, if not 18s,
Yeah,
like
so
I had it in my house. 18s were more than enough to keep up. Even with the 90s, I guess, for the surround, it was great because you don't really have that much effects or that much volume going to the back of the speakers, more or less, right? And under the old
Well,
engine, well, yeah,
well,
you do now. With the Dolby Atmos now and all that nonsense, it's much more different than like the older movies. So, but it's still good.
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe 20s if they were still around. I would put in the back with the 50s. They could definitely keep up.
I just bought another set of 50s.
Did you?
Yes.
You fucking bastard. What color?
Same.
Nice. I guess yeah, it makes goes without
Aluminium
saying.
Mercedes grill.
Where from?
The Netherlands. I had an
Oh,
opportunity
okay.
with moving and stuff, so I did.
Sick. Are they coming?
They're already installed.
Oh, you bastard. Why did you keep it all in the hush hush? Like, oh, nice. So you got 250s now?
Well, four technically, two sets.
Yeah.
The only thing the importers did was
Oh, they fucked up the thing.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Shiitake mushrooms. Oh well, are they getting you a new one?
Yeah, it's already installed, but now I have a Christmas ornament, right?
Oh my god, you can. That's funny. Should make this that's. I like that. That's Bio Armor 1.
I feel like I need to be in Doctor Who or something.
Oh, that's hilarious. You should keep that the whole podcast. This looks amazing. Oh boy. Yeah, he looks like an astronaut. It's fucking hilarious. Oh boy. So yeah.
But no, I had to go for the dream. I've been saying this when
Not for a long time.
started my whole journey with 50s. That was always the dream. And then they screwed me over, and then they slowly gained my confidence back over, what is it, 4 years?
Yeah.
And now we're back at the dream. So I have 617s on the ceiling and 50s front and aft.
What are you doing for the 18s?
Don't know.
And the 19, you don't need those anymore.
Bedroom.
Nice.
Like, I'm never ever selling those 18s, so
I thought about selling mine for and trade them in for like, the 8s, but I still like the look of them. And the 8s are gonna cost me stupid money because the walnut is bespoke or biospoke, so it's gonna be unjustifiably a lot of money to pay for that, and I'm not a big fan of it.
so I'm
Not
kind of
a
looking at what to do with the bedroom TV. Uh, I think I'll go with an Eclipse because the missus doesn't really like a theater in the bedroom. It's too much.
It's too big.
Yeah.
Why not just get the contour?
Yeah, but how do I attach 18s to that?
You don't.
Yeah. I mean, I want to use them. I'm not going to just...
Get that little thing that makes the stage a center channel.
Thinking about it, I'm still quite a few weeks off, so I'm not in a rush. I emailed them and kind of want to see if I get a response at all.
Are you gonna have any speakers in your studio? Might as well put them in a studio, bro. Word.
No, I tend to like do work and stuff in here, so they'll look pretty, but I won't actually use them in here.
You could always use them. Put them in a
You
garage.
could use them, yeah, but I'll use them more in the bedroom for sure.
I guess.
I mean, I still have M3s, and I could put my theater in here. Sorry, not my theater, my stage in here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my stage
Yeah,
could
that's
look
fair.
quite nice here. And then I'm pretty much full up on every room.
What do you have in the bathrooms? M3s?
I haven't placed them there yet because I still have to redo the bathrooms too.
Hmm. Ralph is listening. Good. What makes the stage a center channel? What's that link you sent me to? What was it? Neo or something?
It's a new Armando box. Let me look it up. Da, 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 da.
I don't think he's gonna get a bigger house, David. He just finished renovating this one.
Yeah, no. Uh,
So
this
how do
is
you have the 17s in a theater setup then? Because you have 4 ceiling ones, right?
6 technically. Well, they're on the ceiling, right? But the front ones are
Yeah.
sort of front height, and then you have surround, and then behind me you have rear or surround height.
Okay. Tabarnak, that's gonna sound like insanity.
It's crazy when you have 4 of
50s.
this, well, of the same speaker as well.
Yeah.
Like we already had a few freaky moments where the missus was like, "What the fuck is break? What are the cats doing?" And it's just like surround effects of somebody on the glass going. Ding, ding, ding. It's so realistic. It's unreal, and it's not even tuned properly yet because even the living room is like 92-3% done,
Hmm.
but it's not fully done. So there's like no baseboard. I'm still waiting for some sound deadening stuff.
So you bought some shape? That deadens the sound pretty good.
Actually, drywall and wood actually is quite good at deadening sound.
Are you gonna do a flat wall?
Probably.
That's the best way to do
I
it.
mean, compared
Also.
to the concrete box I lived in, this place eats space.
Because it's all paper, bro. It just goes right through it, man. Let me go make another cup of
Yeah,
coffee.
but for some reason they insulated all the interior walls here.
Which is good,
Yeah.
to be honest. It's very good.
I mean, and
It
the
actually.
outside wall is so the outside wall is concrete, right? And then you have insulation, and then you have like this lattice work of wood, and then you have the drywall.
Okay.
So that eats quite a lot. Then we redid the whole ceiling with this sort of orange peel kind of stuff, which also takes a bunch of reflection out.
On the outside or inside?
Inside.
Oh, okay.
Because my construction builder guy is also kind of an audiophile, and he said this is much better.
Nice. Did you have him sit down in your house yet?
Not yet. When he was done, like the house was ready to be painted, so it's been a while, and then we've run into other issues, but also like silly things like there's a massive carpet in front of the TV and speakers. There's now a table and chairs, and there's
Yeah, that makes difference acoustically, definitely.
there's no longer a shit ton of boxes in the living room at the like bar area, but there's still like 10 boxes there, which is also like suboptimal. So I just did a sort of quick and dirty wide and narrow and left it at that. And then went around with the theater once more, but and called it a day, right? But already it's like, fuck, this is nice.
So that's that box. Sound center surround. Okay. No, it's all in German there.
Ja,
They don't have it in English yet.
5.0 Surround Decoder zum Einbinden, beliebiger Fernseher, Samsung LG. Hinein Soundsetup mit being a Lautsprecher und Anlage.
Cool.
Yeah.
I understood nothing out of it.
It's
Can
essentially...
you not change it? Yeah, go to English, or no? Or it's already in English.
Yeah. You can reload the page, see if it reloads. No. It doesn't load in English for some reason. So it automatically activates 5 2850s. I mean, it's essentially just power link but with dedicated outs over RJ45. So I think what happens is the TV goes in the TV inside HDMI here, and then the stage connects to there via ARC.
That would be the only way that it could.
Yeah.
Without a delay.
And then, I mean, it decodes up to 5.1. I think their other ones do 7.1.
But there's only 1 or 2 available.
What do you mean?
Like there's a 7.1 or just a 5.1?
No, they have other ones that aren't meant for the stage. Where I think you can do 7.1.
Yeah, but that's still cool. That there's finally the ability to do that.
Because if you have a different center channel than the stage, right? Like you just have HDMI ARC, and then you have a longer row of RJ45 ports. But it's also kind of nice that you can still plug in like a 9000 or something like this.
Yes, with the DIN.
Yeah. And like with B&O, there's a hierarchy of inputs. So it just switches over if one becomes active over another.
Mm-hmm. I've done 2 of those so far in my career in Montreal. So I haven't done them in anywhere else. But they're pretty solid boxes. One I have to go back to, but I think that it's more or less the problem with the setup within the box, as it was our first.
Mm-hmm.
But it might have also been that the client fucked around inside the settings and just completely...
Yeah, that's what my sister did.
Destroyed it. So...
She was complaining that her 12.3s were like not great speakers, and she could only hear her center channel. And like that doesn't jive with my experience, right? So
yeah.
Like, did you do anything? It's like, no, I just changed the volume. So I go into her app, and it turns out that like the left front and left right are turned down by like 10 dB, and the center is up by 12.
Oh Christ! Yeah, so of course.
Like, I know they're not equally level, but like, good God.
That's too much. Yeah, that's crazy. It's like, yeah, 12.3s are still a great speaker.
So, I have some experience with like these box. I mean, essentially, it's just a product that works. It's not a sort of negative of the product, but the app is kind of meh.
On the Almondo?
Yeah, the Almondo app.
Yeah, it's very simple. It's very simple.
For some reason, on the older ones, the connection is kind of flaky. I mean, it still works, and they're not that quick in support, I don't feel.
I can't say about the support, because that's, the sales guys in our shop to communicate with them, and so far they're getting answers pretty quick. So I wouldn't say they're bad.
Maybe then it's that. Maybe then they're not that quickly responding to random questions.
But I guess if you sell it to a B&O shop, they kind of are obliged a little bit to hit a reply on the email.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you should buy a domain of Bang & Olufsen with SEN. Or SON.
SON, Bang & Olufsen.
Just trick him into answering.
Oh, boy. So yeah, I'm still hell bent on getting the 8s. That's gonna be my next purchase when it comes to speakers.
And will it then? Well, if you're still there, will it be 18s front, 8s rear, or?
Yeah, yeah, and the nice thing I guess is that it's nice, and it's also like really the table stands and floor stands and wall brackets are all sold individually, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and in the scenario that I have, I would need one floor stand and one table stand instead of buying two boxes. I still buy two boxes, but one stand in each. Because where the 18 is behind me, that would be the floor stand, and the one that's in the kitchen would sit on the countertop, so that would be a table stand. And then
So
the
just in case,
18s
are you gonna
go
buy
out
one
front.
of each or two of each?
No, one of each, because they're sold individually.
By the time
So
you
later,
you want another
later if
floor
I
stand,
need,
it's like prices up 30%.
fuck, right? But so far, I'm just gonna buy one of each, and that's it. I choose not to if I could, but I don't have that option because I want to have them in a certain height, and I don't want them, playing into the couch in the back, right? It's a
And you're gonna
waste of
take your
them.
hacksaw.
But maybe I will just instead of having moving the 18s around because they're okay where they are, I'll just put the 8s on the floor stands. But I don't want to do that because I put the 8s on the floor stands beside the TV. I'm gonna have to use black grills because there's only wood, right? Light and regular oak, and none of that matches the walnut. So, or dark oak, I guess, comes out with the anthracites. We
Ralph,
finally got a golden set. Not a big
Ra-
fan of the gold colors, but they look nice. But I just meh. I like my silver. I'm sorry. Even the anthracite would be nice. Like these are nice, but it's just they don't match with anything I have.
I think the gold could potentially look quite okay with black cloth, but I think when you put wood on it, it sort of becomes a bit, I
Mm.
don't know, weird. Ralph says the wishbone connection on the floor stands. Well, the wishbone connection is the same for everything. Seems to be a weak point. Plastic.
I don't think the one that I have when I opened the 8s and put them in the shop, the ones that I had here last 2 weeks
Mm-hmm.
ago, that felt like it was cast out of either zinc or magnesium of some sorts. Like it felt like it was out of metal.
Hmm.
The pre-production ones were plastic, yes.
So if you're not hanging on it, it's and or clicking it in and out constantly, I don't think much is gonna happen.
No, and they're not meant to be fucked around. Like I understand, in the store that they might break, but not in the house unless you have kids that are dumb enough to hang off it, and you should be hanging them.
Get
Because
a
the
wall bracket and hang it
fuck,
higher.
exactly. Like get them out of the reach. I don't think the cats are gonna jump on top of the speaker because it's all glass. They're not interested in that surface. Push all the my buttons and shit. Fucking speakers possessed. So yeah, but I don't know. I didn't find that as a weak point. I more find the weak point on the floor stands where there is no real set screw idea to go from front facing to tilted upwards, right? Like you just lift them and then it just kind of like the mechanism just clutches it in, and now they're pointed a little bit more prouder or up. So I that's the first stand that is kind of wonky in my eyes
Does
that's
the
B&O's
floor
come
stand
out with.
actually have like adjustment screws for level on the bottom?
No.
So you're stuck with whatever your floor is.
And that's what I don't like about the 28s also, that you have these goofy, rubber offset pads, right? You have the thicker and thinner ones. Like that makes any difference because, the floor is only those two distances from one another as far as unevenness is concerned all over the world. I don't like that. I think that they should still keep on with the idea of the goddamn carpet spikes and the adjustable feet, the turning rubber feet. that used to be on everything all the way back that I can remember. You know,
Yeah, you
9,000, like everything had it. 9,000s,
17s had
floor
those little
stands had it.
twisty.
Yeah, 17s, 18s didn't have it in the beginning, but people were like, what the fuck, over?
My
And they
18s don't
actually,
have it. That's how early
yeah,
they are.
yeah, mine also, but the set that I bought when I got them in, I think 2018. Yeah, these are from 2018. I I checked under the rubber, and that's why I made the Instagram video where you could actually swap it out and then screw in the adjustable foot, because my floor was fucked up in my apartment. Like, it was all sloped, so all the speakers looked like they're, leaning Tower of Pisa. I'm like, this ain't right, man. I'm not the coaster guy. Okay, I'm not gonna go in there, bust a couple coasters, and fudge it under the speaker. It
Home
looks like
Depot
shit.
wooden shims.
Oh Christ, those fucking cedar ones,
Yeah,
right?
you can snap
No,
them off.
I know. Just cut him with an X-Acto, and there you go. No, I do like that. I think that that's a missed opportunity on those,
Leave
because
those
even
splinters on the end when you break it off.
for the insane amount of money that you do pay for the theater floor stand, I do like the fact that they did include that function in it. That you have those. There's basically set screws that you torque in, and they offset these little pads, so you can even out or level out rather the theater floor stand, which
Yeah.
is important, I guess, because you don't have the TV swinging up and whatever.
I mean, Ralph says B&O assumes the client market have level floors, which is not a bad thing to assume, but like, how level is level? That's like, if it's
Well,
level.
example here in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
You go to houses that are millions of dollars, but they're 400-500 years old homes, structures. So
They are no longer
some
level.
floors, they're no longer level. B, some people just prefer to keep it as original as possible. So good luck. And second of all, the trades are so atrociously bad here that even when it's renovated, it's not going to be fucking level. So it's sad, man. I've never seen so just bad. It's bad over here. Montreal or Quebec, like, you guys need to pick up the goddamn slack on the construction quality, because it's just fucking embarrassing. So you never have even floors, man.
Well,
And even
it's probably
there's
level over the length of the house, but if you look at individual places, you have divots and things.
shit just goes weird, man. And
Also, that we're now talking subflooring, right? Like, if your subflooring is wood, it just needs to get wet and it's out of level.
That's it.
If you have concrete, then you just need to stay with your diamond polisher in one spot too long, and you have a divot.
So, yeah, and how this floor was poured concrete, so how they leveled it when they were doing it, that's basically how it stayed. And then they put poly on it, and yeah, there's a couple of places where you can feel the bubble holes, whatever, right? That,
well, you're also trusting that your actual flooring material is flat.
So, but yeah, no, the floors are never even. Remember the old B&O catalogs? I think like 2007, 8 maybe, when they had a BeoVision 740 in this white room, and it was all fucking cobblestone floor with the 8000 sitting on level. Like, yeah, good luck with that 28s. There's no way anymore. But you could do it with those adjustable screws.
Cast a custom plinth on the floor, just like a little bit of self-leveling in a perfect ring, right?
Mm-hmm. Or the carpet spikes. Those were a great idea for back in the day.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the only thing that, like, at least here, I'm, I guess, lucky that the floor is even enough. It's not even where the TV sits. I had to bring it up by, I think, almost 3 mils on one side. 4. So it's...
Well, with the 28s, you can also move it a bit on that spine still.
Yeah, I guess you can level it off that way, but it's only one way, right? If it's in a 45, then you're kind of shit out of luck.
Yeah, you can do sort of this, but not that.
No. So, and for that reason, like, I'm not remotely worried about that, even though about the cable management. They're staying here for a weekend, and they're going back in the store. But I did want to hear them. I wanted to make my own opinion and an impression about them, right? Because when you listen to the stuff in the store, first of all, it's not the same experience as, you walk around your room, you get the music blast and have a beer, sit down, and you want to listen to something, you pay attention, but you keep them on a certain level. And they sound great, but I really, I don't know if I'm disappointed, but I would say that I'm not happy with the duality of them.
All these many little things is why I ended up selling mine. Besides moving internationally, and that there's so many goddamn boxes.
Oh,
the
these are insane
28s
amount.
in boxes take up the same amount of space as 50s do.
Yep.
And then you take them out, and it's like a skinny speaker. It's like, it makes no sense.
It's like a fat 6000, like a really fat 6000. That's what it kind of remind me when they're opened in wide position. They really remind me of a very futuristic take on a 6000 speaker.
Yeah. But if you were to drive them solely with a TV almost all the time, I think they're perfectly fine.
Yeah, I just feel bad, or not feel bad, but I would. It's different if you think about it. Like if somebody just bought the 28s and then they decided to buy a theater later, I think they'll be disappointed in how
where's all my bass?
Yeah. But when I looked, like it redirects -6 dBs to each speaker. Like, why not leave them where they are? Like the theater just shaves everything down quite a bit. So, and today is the day when I'm going to have them. I'm gonna tune them through the dBs and blah blah blah, and in a speaker positions or listening positions. And tomorrow I'm gonna move the 18s up front and move the 28s in the back.
Get your triangle going.
Get the triangle going as it's advertised. Listen to that for a bit, because it's different to listen to it in the store, because yes, it's so far apart. It's more rectangle than it should be much wider for the effects, in my opinion, and it's unrealistic in that sense. There's way more distance in real life for speakers inside the living rooms.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try them the other way, tune them and play with it, and then Tuesday fuck around, and Wednesday they're back in the store. But at least I'll have a full experience of how they perform in different scenarios, because I will tune them with and without the 18s as fronts once I move them.
Maybe you should try 50s next weekend.
No, I'm not fucking talking that. No way. No way. We don't even have 50s in the showroom now, because they got sold 3 weeks ago.
Well, that way you can decide whether you keep your 90s or not.
No, I'm keeping my 90s. I can't fit them through here, so they're staying where they are. Because that's, fuck off. Not doing that.
So apparently Lego is so cool, it's really cool.
Oh, sweet. Right on. See, you never grow too old to have a Legos collection. Fudge. Next week on the podcast, I'll have this thing built, bro.
I think the ahem is probably Sandy.
Can I post speaker presets for some of your setups, or some of my setups? Well, not now, because now everything is dilapidated, to be honest with you. And quite honestly, that is something that is so very unique to the setup scenario and acoustics of the particular room.
Yes. That
I've never left anywhere with the same set of values that is my house. And I've done over 50 theaters.
Over here, now. I'm a communist. Over here, I'm like a Nazi.
So, because you either, you do a certain dB corrections, right, after the measurements. Because the only thing, honestly, that I can harvest reliably from that microphone is the exact distance from the microphone to that speaker. I've measured it with my laser gauge. The fucking numbers are to the centimeter exact. So, but when it comes to bass, like the Lab 11, it's detected, 3.5 meters away from the woofer or from the microphone when it's sitting beside the couch or behind the couch and the mic is sitting over there. It should be 50 centimeters, in my opinion. So there are some, things that obviously you got to fix with the distance per se for subs. But when it comes to everything else, honestly, man, I just turn on the Depeche Mode Ultra, either the Love Thieves or forget the name of the track number 10, and then I just listen to it until it matches to what I know it's supposed to sound like from a multi-channel system based on living with the 90s and listening to this for a long time on different variants of speakers. That's how I'm satisfied with the tune.
Your 90s will sound different through the theater.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to be corrected higher than they are correcting themselves.
Yeah, but they'll also be way more violent on the bass if asked for.
Well, yeah, because they can bring it down.
Like that We Will Rock You scene, right? Like I saw that in a showroom in the Netherlands in Houten. And like I had the feeling like the shirt on my chest was moving.
Fuck, we watched a Saving Private Ryan opening scene. We got into the movie a little bit before. My girlfriend never seen it. I'm like, what the fuck? You've never seen Saving Private Ryan? All right. So, and it was with the 8 at the time I had here.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, holy fuck. And then we listened to it with just the theater, and she was amazed. But I haven't played it yet. I haven't played my my explosions on this yet, so I can't comment because I was into the music too much yesterday.
I have to watch Band of Brothers again. It's on Netflix now here anyway.
Oh, sick. Fuck, I have it downloaded on one of the hard drives from long time ago.
Same. But that download is probably 720p with...
I don't think I ever downloaded 720p without the multi-channel.
I'm with Lawrence.
So
you don't need a sub when you have 90s and 50s. Well, he has 90s and 50s, literally. I have...
No, you don't need that. You don't need that at all. So... Oh yeah, by the way, you have a set of Lab 1s in my storage locker still.
Yeah, I know.
For that somewhere.
Maybe they can go here.
Speaking of extra speakers, fudge.
Yeah. Should I put one of each in the bathroom? Since you don't need bass in bathrooms anyway.
Fuck. Oh, these will be so bright in the bathroom. Oh my goodness.
Well, at least you'll be able to hear voices in the shower under the water.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. No, those would be fun. But yeah, you have a set of them still sitting in my show.
Yeah, so I think I'm going like my Finnish friend route and going full surround in the bedroom too.
You might as well, fuck.
Fuck it, why not?
You got enough speakers to go around, first of all. Second of all, what's not to like about surround? You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you use it maybe 10% of its time, she will use it more because it's going to be on by default, right? So, it works. It makes sense. It totally makes sense.
Wait. Oh, that's so weird. Apparently Twitch does like ad banners below that now. And I'm seeing ads.
Yeah, I haven't been on Twitch for a while.
Dry erase boards and hair styling products. Like
we need those.
The stuff to like like curl dry your hair. It's like, what?
Fuck. But yeah, I think having 2 pairs of the 28s with the theater would not be a bad system, honestly.
No, it's incredible.
But
I mean,
it's really
I think once I got my second set of 50s, I really started to appreciate what Henrik always said, is that you have to have the same speaker everywhere.
mhm.
Because it is very noticeable. And I don't mean just the power part of it. Like, you literally notice that sound doesn't change from front to back. And it's much more natural. Like, it's much less like there is a speaker playing behind you.
Mhm.
Because it doesn't change in tone, and the same for all the 17s on the wall, right? If it goes around you, you don't really notice because all of it is the same.
Yes.
I mean, could I technically add my 18s to my theater? Yeah, but I don't see what for.
Where? What location would, or no, what speaker location would they be, or position?
Like surround on the actual floor, and then I would have to find another roll for my 17s that are like more or less right there.
Yeah, because you can't do surround wide anymore, right? Like that's
No.
not, because there was a whole bunch of more that you could do with a
Yeah, I would know
true
what to do with
image
it.
pre Dolby Atmos.
Ralph says, I'm not getting much from the 8s at the back with 28's theater front. Well, it also very much depends on what you're watching, right? Like, that makes a massive difference. If it's mostly spoken word things.
That's going to be played at the front, and that's one of the things that's the biggest misconception that I have, that I explain to a lot of clients, is that just because you have surround doesn't mean that everything has to be in surround. You don't have the fucking newscaster playing out of the fronts, lefts, and rears and center, bro. Like that's too
No.
much.
Oh, that's what I was watching. Drive to Survive. Holy shit,
Okay.
that was an experience. And that
Oh
was
yeah.
when like the clinging of of glass was behind us, and we were both like, what the fuck is happening? Because it's like, even in the spoken word things, right? When they're out and
Yeah,
about, they capture like what people are doing over there in the paddock. So you actually hear that.
that's crazy.
So it's like, hey, Lewis Hamilton, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, yeah, and you hear from all like the wheel guns behind you and stuff. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, dude. The way that the surround got nowadays, it's insanity. I mean, I feel bad for people that don't see past that. If they're like, oh, I don't need surround. No, you do need surround, bro.
If you mostly
Everybody
watch
needs
like
a
the
little
news
surround.
or whatever, then sure, I understand.
No, but everybody watches an occasional movie.
Yeah, but
Straight up.
again, it depends on what movies you watch, right? Like if you, I don't know, watch uh, Midsummer Murders or whatever the hell, like it's
Hmm.
mostly spoken stuff. But if you're like into more like an action film or something like that, then that is a massive difference.
Yeah, we watched something. What the heck was it? The Transformers, the last one. God, it's so cheeseballs, bro. Very nice effects, but too bass heavy in my opinion. Like it was a lot of like it's a very thumpy movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
But man, was that a lot of cheese dripping off it. That was just way too much. It's they're running out of topics more or less to make the movies. It's better to go to the old movies
The cartoons. I'm
sometimes.
Optimus Prime.
Yeah, it sounds fucking all just boomy, and then oh god.
I
But
find it amazing that those movies are like all these space alien robots are shooting like pure energy at each other, but it always ends up in like a sword duel.
right.
It's like, what the fuck, man?
That was a scene when the shit was going down for like good 2-3 minutes. I'm like, and they looked at my girlfriend like, shouldn't there be like cops pulling up by now, or a fire department, right? Somebody would have called it in because it's in the middle of the street. but nobody saw nothing because it was all CGI.
Or maybe it's Detroit and nobody noticed.
True enough. But
It's
yeah,
like
it's
this regular life, right?
just a bunch of cyborgs coming in from the sky. But yeah,
Yeah, that's true too, Sonny. Ford versus Ferrari. Excellent movie too.
hmm yeah, there's some good. Whoever is in chat, if you have any good suggestions for a really nicely acoustically done movie, even though if it's a shit plot, I'll watch it because if it
Terminator
sounds good.
2, like
Terminator is great.
the Band of Brothers series, Saving Private Ryan, which you recently watched, uh, Enemy at the Gates.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's a good movie.
In terms of audio, June. June is fucking amazing in terms of audio. 1918. Was it 1918? That World War One movie. Amazing. Dunkirk.
Yeah.
Amazing. And specifically in terms of sound, right?
hmm
Like 1918 is amazing on several fronts, as in it's filmed essentially in one camera go. Like there's one point where it fades to black, which is when somebody gets knocked out, and the rest of the time you're following in one camera shot. Like there are actual like
I heard
cuts,
about that movie.
but it's crazy to see. And then the whole sound stage is unreal. Same for Dunkirk. In Dunkirk, there's like this sort of classical, ominous background music the whole time that you don't really notice is there. But once you just sort of stop, if you tune out of the dialogue, it's like you sort of get scared by listening to the music because that's what you're meant to do.
So Dune has a nice soundtrack as well. Let's go see that too. What is that movie about?
Essentially, there is a how would you say? There's a planet in the galaxy that harvests spice, and spice is more or less a sort of energy kind of thing slash what they use for money to trade with in an entire galaxy. And then there's like an emperor that controls the galaxy, and then it's sort of feudal in a sense, like a royal family of some other planetary system gets told to take it over, but they'll get assassinated pretty brutally, except for the son. And then the son it goes on an avenging mission. Yeah, I would say just watch it. I'm not doing it justice.
Okay.
Because it's sort of really high-tech feudal society. So that...
What year is that? 2021? There's a whole bunch.
Yeah. The film came out in 2021. I thought you meant as a joke. What year is the high-tech feudal society?
No, fuck's sakes. Jeez. Oh my god. We're not that disconnected here. But yeah, no,
there used to be Dune games that are Command and Conquer style.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I used to play those. Like there's enormous battles, like ships fly with a sort of hum that you don't notice until the ship lands. But probably with 28, you'll hear go.
Well, we'll see with the, because I also have the Lab 11, which also pumps too. I was surprised that it actually redirected some of the bass into it comparatively to having 28s at the front.
I mean, also, yeah, in terms of sound design, Dunkirk is amazing. 1918, amazing. There's a lot of films that have gotten pretty darn good. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm very interested in watching some good shit on this.
The Northman is quite good in terms of sound,
Okay.
which is set in like Viking Europe, where one of these Vikings gets caught during a raid, and then he's a sort of raider slave dude. That
Hmm.
it's quite grim, dark, and brutal.
Hmm.
Yeah, like Lord says, a good sounding film is Baby Driver.
Yeah, that was a good movie. I saw that one. That and sound was great too.
I'm looking at the films of the last year or so.
Hmm.
Uh, oh God, what's that film called? It's with that guy from Better Call Saul. Is it No One?
Oh, yeah, that was a good movie. That was a good movie. It was a good and sound acoustically was also done very nicely on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good film. I don't know what movie that I watched. It was so shitty, like in the plot, but the sound effects were just insane. Some old pyramid movie. It was weird.
Stargate?
No, 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 no. It was some explorers that went into a pyramid and they woke up this whatever, and I don't remember,
I
but it
mean,
was good
the original
sound.
Matrix is quite a good movie for sound too.
Yeah, I watched it not too long ago. Actually, I watched all four.
Operation Mincemeat is kind of a good film, also with good sound staging.
John Wick is good too. Yes,
Yeah,
but yeah,
Operation.
Matrix was fucking crazy back in it when it came out. That was a revolutionary movie,
Yes.
but sound was also great on it.
You could just about watch any of the Bond films.
Yeah, they're part of our actually demos in the shop that they that the sequence. I forget what with the guy with the fucked up eyeball, and they shoot, and the camera pans through the steeple with the bell ringing, so you got that surround, coming.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
I mean, they're kind of crappy movies in many ways, but like all the Avenger movies have great audio.
Hmm. Yeah, they do.
Another fun movie to watch is Red One, and I think it's Red Two,
Mm.
which are like I think Bruce Willis's last movies, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Red One and Red Two was good. I like those, and they were very nicely done acoustically as well. I have to say. Yeah, I forget which Iron Man one or two that we had
Oh,
blown the fives on.
another good film is Greyhound.
Never heard of it.
It's a Tom Hanks movie, and he's a captain of a destroyer in World War II in one of the first convoys from the US to the UK.
Okay.
And they're being hunted by a submarine wolf pack. And the Germans every so often come up over the radio and it's like, "We see you,"
Hmm.
the shit like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to look for something else. Yeah, there's a whole bunch. I'm gonna go and see, but then again, like if you watch stuff that you stream on Netflix per se, like there's no way that you are getting the same experience that if you had had it on a Blu-ray piped into the TV with the amount of
No,
data.
correct.
So And I don't know how much the sound suffers, but the picture definitely does when you have this artifacts building up in the dark spots of the pixelation on the screen. But
But how much are you looking for it? Like, I'm not trying to spot flaws in everything when I'm watching a movie, personally.
I'm very critical.
You sit there with.
What is this?
Pixel.
Yeah, no good. Turn off the TV or go to bed.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's 1-to-1, man. If you go from Blu-rays, bro, like you look at the pictures, just insane. Oh, I got the Avatar 2 to watch, so I'm gonna dip into that tonight.
it's probably not the greatest movie, but I bet you the sound will be great. Oh, Top Gun too.
Yeah, Top Gun is good.
Like, watch that on what you have now. It'll be quite different than when you watched it the first time.
Fair enough. Yeah, especially the flybys and shit. That's very cool. Avatar.
The Joker is good.
I saw that. It was a good movie. Yeah, that was a good movie.
Kind of dark, but yeah. Oh, that first, I think that war movie was 1917, not 1918.
What?
The movie I said to watch is 1917. It's a Christopher Nolan film, I think.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, Sam Mendes. Then Dunkirk was Nolan. 1917 is fucking amazing. God, if you want a showcase of OLED and sound, watch 1917.
Okay.
I'm not even joking, because it's filmed over the duration of a day. The total film, including intro and everything, is at 2 hours, so it's not that long. Mm-hmm. But it's a wild fucking ride, because it goes from getting orders to going to another place to receive or to deliver orders, and everything in the meantime happens that could potentially happen in a war, from plane crashes, and we're talking biplane era, right? Mm-hmm. To shit being on fire at night.
Interesting.
Like there's this whole scene where he runs through like what's left of a village that just got bombed and is on fire. So it's like pitch black and like bright fire, and that's all the light there is.
Fire. I'm grabbing a beer. Yeah, I'm gonna watch some good movies tonight, bro. And I'm gonna swap it around tomorrow and watch them again with different speakers for fronts and different for rears.
Yeah, I mean, out of the last 4 or 5 years, I think 1917 and Dunkirk are one of my favorite films they've made.
I'm ashamed to admit that I have not seen Dunkirk yet. So I'm missing out.
It's also very much worth it. I mean, different. It's Second World War Dunkirk, obviously. Mm-hmm. But again, a third of the movie is 2 dudes flying around in Spitfires protecting the French coast. And just the sound those Merlin engines make is amazing. That sort of the choppy, giant 26-liter V12 sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna see that too. Now I got spooled up a couple, so we're good.
And that crazy sort of ominous in the background the half the time when like Stukas come in, because like this is something I'm not sure if people know or how common knowledge it is, but those Stuka dive bombers the Germans had, right? Like that that's siren.
There was a horn. Yeah, there was a siren on it.
Yeah, that was put on there on purpose to frighten people. And it's fucking loud. So
And now it's just in a Tom and Jerry cartoons and whatever the Acme shit.
yeah, but so you hear that quite often in that movie because the thing is also you can't really see it because quite often I don't know how much you know about Dunkirk, but it was the British retreating back to the UK. So you have these rows of people just on the beach, and your view is on the beach, and all of a sudden you start hearing right, and your view is still on the beach. So where the fuck is it?
They're coming
Ominous
from
as
the top.
shit.
Yeah, no, I've seen the previews. I haven't seen the movie. Another good movie was the one with the Brad Pitt with the tank. What the heck was that called?
Fury.
Fury. Yeah, that was a good movie.
Audio design, fantastic again.
Yeah,
Laureate said
Fury was-
Interstellar. In terms of sound, fantastic too.
yeah, Fury was something that I'm gonna definitely look into.
Isn't Interstellar like one of these Hans Zimmer? Yeah, Hans Zimmer. Like that dude always hits it out of the park in terms of like music for films.
Who?
Hans Zimmer.
Okay.
I think he did like Gladiator. Yeah, Interstellar, Inception. He did Dune. He did The Dark Knight. He did The Lion King, Pirates of the Caribbean, Da Vinci Code.
Okay, so he's worked on a whole bunch of good movies.
I wouldn't be surprised if he has like 5 Oscars at home. Oh, he did Dunkirk too. No wonder it sounds so amazing.
Yeah, Star Wars. I'm not a big fan of Flores at all. I never really. Even when I was a kid, I watched it. I think once, and it never really did it for me at all.
It did Top Gun Maverick 2, Sherlock. The Sherlock Holmes films with Robert Downey Jr. aren't actually all that bad in terms of film, and the sound design is quite good. I mean, it's very much a Guy Ritchie film, and if you like that sort of shit, it's kind of amazing.
Mm-hmm.
With like the sort of matrixy flipping angles that like go around, right? Like instead of seeing somebody punch, the focal point is on the punch itself, not on the person. Like it's not like you see this and it comes like that. Like the camera goes with the fist to wherever it hits.
Oh, okay.
Which is it's a really interesting way of doing that.
What movie is that?
The Sherlock Holmes films with Robert Downey Jr.
The Sherlock Holmes.
It's also in things like Snatch. Fucking amazing film where Brad Pitt is a pikey. He's like
okay.
He's like, I need a caravan for me, man. That's
I've
how
seen that movie a long time ago.
Brad Pitt speaks.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. I've seen that movie with him speaking like a pike. It was hard to understand him.
Yeah, that was the whole purpose.
Yeah.
Like it's effectively code.
That's funny. But yeah, I got enough to watch, so I'm gonna watch tonight and just indulge more in those 28s and see what the heck comes out of it. But yeah, overall, I think they honestly should have put the glass on top of the speaker instead of the plastic, like it is on the eights. Yeah, it'd be more premium. I think that'd be more premium of a feel than having that same plastic, the orange peel look plastic that is
it's probably less
even worse than the Essence remote.
Yeah, but it's probably less fingerprint attracted on the 28s.
Well, yeah, but then why would you change that for a huge pane of glass on the top of the Beolab 8? Because that's a significantly larger
more
sphere.
Premium. I think they tried it, and essentially it's sort of like glass is better in the end. Yeah,
they should stick to that. They should have stuck with it. They should have just silently done the update on them and have the glass tops on the Beolab 28s. And if people are bothered, then you have an option to change it. If it's within the warranty, I guess. That's
Yeah,
what I would have
everybody
done.
still is. Maybe they'll do it after the first warranties run out.
Probably. But also another thing that I'm thinking, for such a premium speaker, I think the logo should have been backlit. You know, I think that they have the tech, they had the technology before to do that, especially when it comes to Beolab 20. So, you know, Beolab 8s have the logo with those, what do they call it? The see-through aluminum or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. You know, how hard was it to do? And 90s have it, 20s were the first ones to come out with the logos lit. And I think that they should have done it for the 28s,
Yeah,
just to,
the giant coin has it. What's it called again?
oh, the edge.
Yeah, I mean that has
Yeah.
backlit aluminium.
So I think it should have been backlit, in my opinion, for both speakers.
I mean, I agree you don't need to touch the top of the speaker, but when you do, like they should. I personally, I don't feel like they should have ever sort of mandated like it must have a touch panel on it. I don't get that personally. Like, why not just sell a remote with it?
Yeah, I guess, but it's easier. I don't know. I never really touch. I don't have the reason to touch the speaker, because even if I want to turn them on, I do it either through the remote or through the app if I want to select a particular track on
But
Deezer.
but I think it compromises the sort of aesthetic looks, especially on 28s. It sort
The
of
top
makes,
plate,
yeah. Wouldn't that be nicer if it just was like polished aluminium or something, or anthracite,
I would have been okay with it if it was
or glass would have been
the.
better? But like, I mean, whatever design you come up with now with a speaker that's Mozart, you need a bloody touchpad on it.
But why not do it the same touchpad theme, more or less, that is like on a Center too, you
Yeah,
know, or the moment, right, with the volume wheel, and then you can have those things backlit underneath it, or not even backlit underneath it, just like it's on the Emerge. You have the My buttons, but they're not backlit. So I'm sure there is plenty of ways to go about it.
yeah, but if nothing else, whatever speaker you make, you have to take into account that you need just that physical space, right? Like to put the whole touch control mechanism, whatever, however you do it.
Mm.
Like, why not sell a remote? Like, I sell a bunch of Halos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sundip's right. Like, well, I've touched my theater a couple times. Give me a second. Somebody's knocking at my fucking door. Oh my god, the tenant. One sec.
Go for it. Yeah, personally, I don't fully understand the desire to have everything touchpad. I mean, for the same reason, if they ever decide to go Beolab 50, Beolab 90 Mozart, like, where the hell are you going to put a touchpad on it? And if you do, I don't think it's going to look nice. I mean, at the very minimum, it's going to compromise the looks. And if on 90s it is going to be in the top crown, right? Like somebody like Eric couldn't touch it because he's in a wheelchair, so he can't see what he does. So it's I read that different, Ralph. I read that it's just a fanny tickler. Oh god. So yeah, it's Also, at that point, you're redesigning a speaker so much that you're gonna have to call it a Mark II. Which, however we think about it, like a Beolab 5 Mark II was never officially a Mark II. Same for the Mark III; it was never officially that. And it'll have Bluetooth and it'll have this and that, so you'll have to go through all the testing again, which is expensive for something that already exists. Then you'll have two sets of the same speaker on different software stacks that you have to keep up to date and maintain. Uh, I I don't see them do it. I hope they don't do it. I'd rather them make something else. But to me, and I think I can say the same for Sandeep, the 50s and or 90s are smart enough to be useful and dumb enough to be future proof. Are you muted still?
Yeah,
There you
no,
go.
I'm not. So what I miss?
I read Ralph's comment differently. He says it's just. I read it as it's just a fanny tickler. It's a fancy tickler.
Yeah, I don't know. I think on the 18s it's almost useless to have the touch panel.
Where are you going to put it? On top of the lens? Then you're going to have the top of the lens is going
Oh,
to be
what
that
on the
big.
18s?
Yeah.
On the 18s? Oh, that's not happening on the 18s.
It's not happening on the 90s or 50s either. Well, it could potentially, but at that point you're going to redesign everything. Plus, you need to get them tested again because it'll have radiation in and out of it that it didn't have. So it has to go through FCC and what is it, ECC testing again. By the sheer fact that it has Bluetooth, which you're paying for.
Yeah, because you'd have to have a Bluetooth for the remote.
Well, just
I'm glad that those don't
music
have it.
in, right? Like it has AirPlay. It has all this shit that they don't have. So there's different. Like you can't just Mark II upgrade and say, "Nah, this one isn't in spec." Sure, trust us.
And with the 50s and 90s, would you do it on the master or would you do it on both?
So far, it's on everything, and everything.
No, but in the 50s and 90s, you only have one that has all the sources in it. The other one is a secondary speaker or slave.
Yeah.
So
I think they're just gonna, if they're gonna do something like that, they're just gonna make something new. I also don't understand. I also don't think they would choose to have two software stacks of the same speaker up and running, like a Mozart 50 and a was it ASC? Well, it's not really ASC, but whatever this Linux-based 50 is, and you're gonna have to keep them up and maintain them and keep them stable, like side by side. And it's like that seems not useful. Just get a source that can do the Mozart thing. Just update the core for crying out loud. It's much easier.
I agree. I think they should update the core. They should update the core with like
or make a
surround
new
speakers
Essence type thing.
With yeah,
Like that's essentially a core with like a touchpad on it that looks nice that you can put somewhere, right? It doesn't even need a full-on display or something necessarily. People would like a display.
but even on the core, if they did a Mark II with a display of some sort, how much display would it have? Would it be something on the side of it, like a halo display?
Well, just imagine if it was a core underneath the touchpad of some Beolab 8s, right? Like that you can just tilt like it's an old A8 or something like that, but just singular. And that you can set somewhere on the... I mean, that's plenty, right? Like you have the volume thing you can slide on. You have next, previous, pause, play. You can turn your Bluetooth on and off. You can do your room compensation, whatever. Just like a disc of an A8, right? Essentially on just cut off where it circles and just have something like that sitting somewhere. With a glass touchpad.
I don't know. I think they also should consider making an audio master again.
Well, effectively, that would be an audio master at that point.
But then again, I don't think that there's really a need for an audio master because the network link doesn't work the way that, you can't have a theater connected, or not theater, sorry. Like, let's say an emerge, right, connected to a theater as a primary, right, on the network link, because it doesn't need to pull that source off of it. It's got its own internal ones built in.
Yeah.
So like it's obsolete in that functionality, or redundant rather.
I still kind of like it that with like the moment I can set my BeoSound 2 as its primary, and I have full control on the moment and also on the BeoSound 2.
Yes.
I kind of miss that. Because I can join the theater to the moment, but then the volume button on the moment does fuck all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, since there's nothing connected to it, right? Like, it'll think it's going up and down, but the theater's not doing anything with that.
Oh. Yeah, I haven't played with the moment. Mine is somewhere. I couldn't even find it. I was looking for the lap 4s because that's initially what was going to be here instead of the 8s. I still might dig up the lap 4s and put them in because I'm gonna list them out to sell. Fuck it.
Yeah, especially if you're already set on buying 8s, do you really need the 4s?
No, I don't. I don't think I'm gonna get rid of the lab 11 though, because if I'm gonna keep the 18s, I might keep the 18s with the lab 11 in for my Lego room, I guess.
Or connect them to your shape.
I would connect the subwoofer to the shape.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
100%.
Connect the 11 to the shape.
Once I build it up again.
So
I also thought about maybe expanding on the shape, but not here because there's no point. But maybe go to 2.
Sound tending your whole place.
Fuck.
Do a Henrik.
But I don't think I have that much disease on it. But I think that 12 tiles is good enough for a bedroom.
Yeah, plenty.
With the sub, just like I had.
Unless
with
you have some of these Floridian bedrooms that are like 20 by 30 feet.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Then it looks tiny.
But I would probably run it. I don't know if I would run it off the core. Or
off the moment?
I would run it off the moment. Because that would be...
Run it off the moment at that point.
If I run it off the moment, then I still have IR for the BO time in the bedroom.
Yeah.
It's too bad they never made the walnut moment. I would have bought the cover in walnut for sure. Fuck.
You can always ask them now. They probably still have the stencil somewhere.
Yeah, and pay what the moment doesn't even sell for on eBay to get the goddamn wood.
Yes.
That's what that would be like. Yeah, that's too much.
I mean, they keep on telling us where there's a will, there's a way, right?
Indeed. But I'm more into, if I'm gonna invest in anything, I'm gonna invest in the Lab 8s with the walnuts. That's the way that the whole thing is shifting here for me. Maybe I'll get rid of the 18s. They're still a good value speaker.
They've gone up again a bit.
Oh my god, all the BeoPlay stuff is going up, like, by a lot. 30%.
I mean, but effectively for the 18s now, they're marketed with a core as standard sale. They're still up like 250 or something.
Which kind of makes sense because they're trying to make them smart speakers, I guess, in a way, right? And you need something to drive those. Like if they're having this, built-in interface and everything in their portfolio other than the 18s at this point.
Yeah, but imagine somebody like Stefan, right? Like he buys a theater and 18s and it's like, well, here you go, 2 cores. It's like, what for?
You don't need a core then, yeah.
Yeah.
Then I would just trade the core for a fucking couple remotes. Or at least one. Because that's a la carte as well, right? It's not something that
Buy a TV, you don't get a remote anymore. I still don't understand that as a standard sale.
Well, with the theater, quite honestly, you don't need it. If you're just using theater as a sound bar without attached speakers, even if you had attached speakers, I've done it in the setups where people use the their TV remote. But if you go in with an LG screen, it just makes no sense not to go, because then you do have the puck control also for your goofy cable box that's not controllable by anything else otherwise.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
weird.
It's weird, and there's still glitches here and there with the theaters that we have put together for people. So it's gonna get resolved. I'm very excited about seeing the updates on the app in, I guess, January is what it is, or sometimes early next year.
Yeah, January, maybe early February. I mean, they're Danish, right? They have to have like a week or two off right now.
Yeah, caveat to what the actual was said, but yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it to see what because they should definitely change the interface on the theater, and they should also update the freaking. They should enable the ability. I don't know where. Again, that's something that I would have loved to ask. Maybe when he comes back on the next, and I managed to have time off to do the interview together. I would like to ask him regarding the Beo Remote One, because it seems that it's app based as far as the list is, except the list for what the TV goes in there. So is there a way to move things around, or how do you introduce that ability? Do you have to update the firmware on the remote control to give it the ability to move it around, like you are able to do it in the IR mode, where you can just move or hide shit that you don't need? But now you have to do it through the app, so there's a lot more. It's a lot easier, I think, to do it through the app, but it needs to be presented as an ability, because right now it's not.
Yeah.
Is there an order of operations for a theater setup in an external speakers first into the stereo pair and then theater? That's the way I've done it. Honestly, like I said earlier in the podcast in the beginning, it was the first time that it actually worked for me. Because every time I had them stereo paired, I could not get the second or secondary speaker to activate WISA, or even like just a fucking pair to the theater at all. And I've done it in our shop to the point where I'm like, you know what? And a factory reset the son of a bitch, which it's a headache because then you have to reconfigure everything, not just the retuning it, and see if I can pair them this way. So yeah, this is the first time, honestly, the first time that, and I'm very surprised and shocked that it worked this way. It worked for me one time at one client that has 28s with the Harmony, where I was able to stereo pair them, but I couldn't have them wired. I had to disconnect the hardwire network, and then they work together perfectly. And when you turn on the TV, they cut off and go to the WISA mode, which is what they behave like here in this scenario right now.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said also earlier, that the only rational functionality of that is, I guess, it's in Europe, when your power costs are so high that why run a 5.1 full-on system to listen to stereo music where you can just listen to your front speakers individually. But that also comes with the cost. Not even the cost, it comes with the sacrifice of having that speaker in dual tonality, because it behaves completely different in the WISA mode versus in stereo paired. As far as the acoustics are, it's way more boomier in when they're paired stereo versus what the theater does to remedy, I guess.
Well, you can EQ
or
it,
even
I
it out.
guess.
It EQs it properly to the room. So that's.
Well, you can also
that's
EQ it manually for the stereo paired.
Of course.
Yeah.
But it's just like, right now it was a out of the box experience. The first day is out of the box. See what this sounded like for them to do, like what's the rationale in the decision process to make these speakers sound the way that they are. And then tonight after we go offline, I'm gonna make some ribs, and after that, I'm going to sit down and play with the tune and crack that big ass Lego set open and get on that.
I think I have to get a new router again. This is
What is
from
that?
DJ Neo on the Discord. I have to get an Orbi. It's Wi-Fi 7.
Oh, for the love of God!
Do
Cool.
you see it?
Yeah. But what the fuck, man? Like nothing supports it. That looks like a Beolab 50.
Yeah, that's why I have to get it.
That is hilarious, actually. That looks completely like a Beolab 50 with a massive, like a walk of a fucking acoustic lens. Tabarnak, man. That's funny.
Are they literally stealing B&O designs for routers? They're like, that emerge looks like a good router. We could do something with 50s.
Oh my God, they must have watched our podcast. Fucking hell. That is way too funny, man. That's completely a 50, bro.
The Wi-Fi 8 is just going to be a Beolab 90, right? Because you need that those sails for extra transmission.
That's right, extra antennae on it. That is rich. I like it. Yeah, you should get it. Just not even plug it in. Just have it as a paperweight. Still be cool because Wi-Fi 8. Come on, give me a break.
I can probably just plug it into the Ubiquity thing and use it as an access point.
Fuck. For Chinese to go and spy on your house.
Yeah, well, I'll set it through a VPN or something.
But yeah, that's funny, man. I can't believe that actually looks exactly like it.
Let's see.
Yeah, it does look like it. That's funny. Yeah. Get it good. But also back to the interview, I think he's very right about the difficulties that B&O has as a challenge, let's say, with a variety of different networks. Speaking of networks, somebody buys a bunch of these goofy ass 50 look like Orbeez, whatever. I thought Orbeez were those balls.
Yeah, but they make new versions every year.
Okay, so that's not Orbi.
Well, it's the top of the line of their mesh network, essentially, for Netgear.
Okay. What is Wi-Fi 7, for God's sakes? Like, what supports it? I haven't even heard of that anywhere yet.
I don't know. Like, barely anything supports Wi-Fi 6 at the moment.
Yeah. They just call in shit different numbers, and there you go, bro.
Look, at the end of the day, I don't really think it matters, because most people don't have over gigabit internet to begin with.
Mm-hmm. It might matter within your network environment for sharing the music within a network link scenario, where that speed is like,
yeah, but
at least on the old ASC platforms, dude. On the old ASC platforms, like I was monitoring on the Ubiquity the amount of data that was transferred. It was fucking in gigabytes internally a day, within from the moment more or less pushing out to all. It's weird how that worked. It was a lot of data consumption internally, like, and the synchronizing. I guess they're running clocks against one another to be in sync and all that shit. Like, it was a lot of data that came around or came through the pipe, just having few rooms playing. Well, 5 rooms, I guess. But I never had any network issues whatsoever as far as with the Ubiquity. We're doing the Eero in the shop, and I'm not a biggest fan of it. Yes, it's simple and brain dead to set up, but then if you get into like static IPs and all that nonsense, it's really hard.
Yeah, I think even for music, you're still not going over 100 megabits a second, right? Like, that's enough speed to get to your gigabytes of data in a day, sure. But
But
at the point where you need to stream 4K full-on Blu-rays all over the house, wouldn't you almost be better off just hardwiring it?
oh yeah, of course.
And I think
I'm quite impressed with the network link nowadays from the new app. Just having playing 28s, and if you go to the app and you join, it's instantaneous. It's not on the remote, or if you press and hold for 3 seconds, it goes beep, and then the music cuts in. But it is instantaneous through the app, and I don't understand how they do that, but it's pretty fucking cool.
It's probably like one of these DSG clutches, right? Like we're ready to go, we're ready to go. Just press the button.
And that's it. Interesting. And these things are not cheap either, hey? $2,300. Call this for a 3-pack. That's a lot, man.
Yeah.
But I guess if you need it, you need it. I don't know what the hell would you use it for at this point of time. I don't think there's much tech out there or equipment out there that even hovers within the Wi-Fi 7.
I mean, it has a 10 gig WAN port. Like, who has that?
Yeah, but it's gonna be Loritz. Yeah, maybe Wi-Fi 7 will be a big game changer, but not for B&O, not for a long time. They're not gonna hop on that bandwagon right away. That thing needs to be certified, solidified, and verified, and simplified before B&O gets in on it. I guarantee you that.
In the US, we're not going to get these speeds within the next 5 years anyway. No. Not for any reasonable price.
No, unless
and by that I mean
in the middle of a metropolis, basically, but not if you go further out.
But by reasonable, I mean like $500 a month for just internet, right? Like, no.
Oh, the internet, data, and telephone, cellular costs here are retarded. It's ridiculous in US and Canada. But then again, if you go anywhere, even here, if we go to Tremblant or anywhere up north, you fucking in the middle of absolute nowhere, and you get in the house and they have a fiber internet somehow.
Yeah,
which is crazy to me, but.
By the way, this 3-pack is meant for 10,000 square foot home.
Holy fuck, man! That's gotta if you put that in the kitchen, it'll ripen your tomatoes within a day.
No, it'll keep all the flies away because they drop dead before they get to them.
Dead. Jesus Christ, man! That's gotta be a powerful ass radio inside this thing. That's gotta be not healthy for you, bro. 10,000 square foot home, Jesus Christ! And if it's a 10,000 square foot home, they probably have in-floor heating.
Yeah. Which
these things have to be powerful as fucking tanks to get through that. But I guess you would do one per floor. I know, man. That's wow, too much. But the thing is, okay, well, that can scream loud as fuck, but can the phone scream back just the same? I don't think so. You'd be having fucking tumors for knuckles, man. If there's a big antenna inside, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
I mean, it's like 8K TV, right? Like, we're not going to get that for another 5 years.
Yeah, but it's marketed.
Nobody wants to broadcast it.
Well, it's so data heavy, for God's sakes. It's way too much.
Yeah, it's...
And do you really care for an 8K news channel or whatever? How much of that, the business channel, how much of that nonsense scrolling shit they could fit on in 8K on the screen? They can have the whole stock market rolling through.
You have a 1080p banner scrolling by.
Fuck, it's too much, man. Even 4K, it's not that it's too much. I think 4K is absolutely perfect. Up to 77, I think, depends on how far you sit. But this scenario, which I'm literally, my feet are touching the grills of the theater if I wanted to, it's perfect size.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing, right? The more resolution is meant for sitting closer.
Yes. So, and I like that.
I mean, what is it, the BV3104 still looks amazing if you sit 6 meters away from it.
Yeah, and you can definitely afford to do that.
Yeah.
Shit, there is a few of them here in Montreal that they sold. So 103s and 83s.
Just hope they don't
And
call you to remove them.
well, that was the topic the other day when we were going on a site somewhere with a Jen. We were just reminiscing about the TVs. Like, yeah, there's a couple, and it's like, yeah, the guy called in that he had a problem with the BeoSystem 3 within that TV. So, well, the System 3, it's a specifically designed one for it because of that stand nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope, I don't know, man. Like, this is something that if that fucking dies, bro, you're getting, like, that's a crane operation. Like, you need to get a crane to get it out the goddamn house. Because in Montreal, bro, like, you're not taking this down the spiral staircase.
Even
Because
if you have a regular
it's
staircase
gonna
with
take
like one
you.
corner, right?
No, man, that's gonna take you down the spiral staircase. It's not gonna be the other way. 'Cause that's
I mean,
265 kilos or whatever the
two
heck
guys
that
at the
is.
bottom is plenty, right? Like,
Fucking
how do you
hell.
get 4 guys on a single staircase?
I just don't know how do you bring it back out without the original box. You know, I
Chainsaw,
guess if it's
angle
dead, it's just
grinder.
fucking metal straps and yeah. The only way you can break it down is just that glass would be a pain in the dick.
Well, you have one of these puncture things, right? And then you vacuum with your
Oh fuck! You'd never be done vacuuming that glass in ever.
get your Dysons out, like 4 guys with Dysons.
Fucking shop vacs, man. That's yeah. I don't know. That's gonna be a definitely. Hopefully, I'm not here for that anymore. But that's gonna be definitely an interesting uninstallation. And what are we gonna replace it with? 98. We got a few in the warehouse. Fuck, they're heavy, man. Holy fuck.
Yeah, they're 60
That's a
kilos.
very heavy TV. Yeah, no, that's a heavy TV. That's something that I think that we're gonna do an install, we're
It's
gonna
also
have the
40 kilos a
movers
box or
delivered.
something.
Yeah, the box is not fun either.
No.
So yeah, that's gonna be an interesting TV when we'll set it up. But I gotta say though, yeah, the theater you can only go up to 77-inch unless you slap it on the wall with the bigger screens, which we have done.
The correct way, yes.
But it completely cannibalized the sale of everything else in our shop. We
Yeah, that makes
have
sense.
not sold the Harmony. We have not sold the Harmony since the theater came out. We've
Kind of makes
sold a few
sense.
stages. Yeah, it does. We've sold a number of stages still. You know, it's a budget system for more or less. But these people also have bought the theater for the main room, and just like you put a stage in the bedroom, right? Because why not? Or you retire the stage to the bedroom and upgrade to the theater. But yeah, it's cannibalized that. And I also wonder if that, let's say that Wi-Fi surround tech ever comes out where you can use your, let's say, emerges or levels or what is it, balances for surround speakers. Would that cannibalize the sales of the main B&O speakers? Or would there be only a limitation that you can do 5 channels? You can't do like Dolby Atmos type of thing, fancy schmancies with, I wonder about that. If that ever comes out, if it does. It'd be cool if it did.
Yeah, I still think we need a better bedroom TV solution or kitchen TV or.
Yeah, but that's a tough sell because now it's the panel, you kind of have to figure out how to attach the panel to the inside, and the only way that they have so far been successful in doing it is with the contour, but that's 48 is the minimum. But if you
Yeah,
go any
but if you
smaller,
go
then you
after the
can't
very high
attach a
net worth
stage.
individuals, this is normal, right? They don't have tiny kitchens.
No,
Like 48 is not enormous in a very high net worth individual's home.
it doesn't look enormous either because it just gets lost in the vastness of the space that's available for them.
Yeah. I mean, I remember that contour John did on that articulating arm where it could swing out towards the dining table, and that looked fine in that house.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I understand that to you and I, 48 for a kitchen is large, but we're no longer the target audience.
No. But then also, like, I don't know. I've been to a very nice homes, and sometimes I believe that, like, if let's say the V132 was still around, or a variant of it, I think that that still is a very cute alternative for a small breakfast nook TV, and even in a large house.
I mean, they make C342s now, don't they?
Yeah, yeah, we've done a couple of those. They're cute,
Yeah.
but that's as far as the dollar takes it.
I mean, with regards to my interview with Mr. Anderson, coming back to the app, I think they essentially started on a journey and it turned out to be too much on their plate in one go.
Yeah.
That's sort of what it sounded like to me. And that's why we're in this sort of weird limbo situation.
Yeah, where they can't really go back and they don't have enough to move forward with yet.
Yeah, and why you get the weird changes of like, no longer a battery indicator, but now you have it back again.
Yeah, it's back. I confirm to you.
I mean, after the show, I forgot to ask one of the more maybe important questions, but I haven't had a response yet of when will it be able to have like a multi-room setup saved under a My button?
That would be a great idea. That would be a great idea to do that. To have, let's say, My button 1 will turn on all my shit.
Yeah, or specifically my kitchen, my dining room, and I don't know, half
whatever you want. Yeah.
Or my hallway speaker or whatever.
That would be great if that was ever implemented.
Because if that was going to be a thing, I would put my Essence remote on the wall where I come into the house and just go boop every time.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't want to be a lie. Like, there's no point in having one if it can just be done through software in and or the app.
Yeah, which I'm sure it is possible to do.
Yeah.
Because they're all seeing one another. It's just a join button to a certain playlist of a
like I don't really have product. To like unpair my M3s. Like, for what?
Mm-hmm.
They're ambient speakers 90% of the time anyway. It's just every time now I have to go in and pair and select a master and blah blah blah. And
yeah, I think that would be something. I still think they should consider backlighting the BeoRemote 1 Mark II.
Oh, that too, sure. Yes, absolutely. Or just make a new remote.
I don't think they need to make a new remote, because if that fucking thing is backlit, your tactile necessity is almost negligible at that point, because you can see, right? The problem is you can't see shit on this thing.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's true.
And yeah, if once it's backlit, it's okay, because then you know where you are no matter what. But if it's not, then, and yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand why is it so hard, man. We could land a person on the moon, but we can't backlight a fucking remote.
I'll take the radium version of it, like
something, man. I don't care if my thumbs have radioactive cancer on them. Shit, as long as I can see what I'm smashing on the buttons here. How about that? But yeah, the remote needs to be backlit, guys. Come on, it's been years of begging, bro. 11 years of begging.
Yeah, it's
almost 12 now. So come on, let's figure this out. I'm sure you probably made millions of these chassis to push through and sell through.
I mean, it's kind of telling, right, that especially you have been using that remote for 10 years and it's still not like blind.
No, it's still not a completely blind operation. With the BO4, man, even after 10 years of not really using it full time at all, I pick up that remote and it's just a second nature. It's just like riding a bicycle when, from kid never stood on it till now.
Yeah, and you use it, what, 10 years?
Yeah, but this thing is just, it's still, it's a beautifully crafted remote. It just needs the goddamn backlighting. And I think that's what Santa should be tossing down the chimney next year.
Either that or it needs more spacing between the buttons to
then you're starting getting into a larger size, which I understand for you because you have large hands. I don't mind the sleekness of it. I just the only thing that is really the drawback is the backlighting of it.
Yeah,
And
but it's either or, right? Like if you somehow can't implement it because the chassis is too thin, it drains the batteries, whatever, then you're looking at a different design anyway. Like I
yeah,
wouldn't be opposed to that remote being 5 to 10% larger in all directions. It will still essentially be the same remote.
I agree. No, that wouldn't be that bad.
But that
Yeah,
gives you so much more real estate, just even for spacing, right? Let's say you have the diamond and the accompanying color button. If there was just like a space like that much between that and the volume up down, page up down, it would be so much easier to gauge. The same for the number buttons that are above that.
yeah, I understand what you're saying. Split up the same as the BO4 was in
Yeah.
sections. My buttons have their own, with the TV music, then gap for the number pad, and then gap for the diamond, and gap for the bottom.
Yeah, because that is, I feel, essentially how you memorize the BO4. It
Exactly.
is those gaps, and because you could feel and count those gaps, and you knew where you were.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, my button, gap. Oh, this means this is 1, this is 4, etc.
And with Krax's backlight and wireless charging would be epic. You know what? Even if it wasn't wireless charging, even if it was the same principle on just a cradle with the two pogo sticks to charge it, I would be fine with that.
Yes.
RTI has been doing that for over a decade, if not more. Logitech, fucking Control 4, all of those remotes are chargeable. Even Crestron has cradles for their nonsense. So I understand maybe it's not the most presentable way, but if you had something in a presentable way, like a aluminum cradle that is in the shape of an idea like a Beocom 2, the banana phone, where you can just stick the remote in there, and either the keypad is continuously lit up, so it's easier to find in the dark based on the ambient light sensor. I think that would be something that could be entertained as an idea. But we are all more than used to
Charging everything.
charging everything.
Yeah.
Everything is like nobody bitches about iPhones because oh fuck, why don't you make a phone that doesn't need charging? Well, then you're not gonna be using this shit after 8 hours, bro. That's how that stuff works.
Yeah,
So
I'm thinking too, like make it an angular Beocom 2 kind of situation where you sort of lean it back, right?
yeah, or just it sits like this, poof, on a
Yeah.
cradle, so it's still presented to you, and held by magnets. B&O's good with magnets. They've been for a long time.
If it's
And it
enough
wouldn't even
slide
matter if
in.
it's, yeah, exactly, just to have it slide in maybe a good 5 centimeters into it, so then you don't have it, you can actually operate it from the cradle. I think that would be something that should be looked into or looked at, in my opinion, especially nowadays. Like, I understand that this didn't need shit back other than the backlighting when it was in the IR mode, because it lasted forever. But now with the Bluetooth, and depends on how many products you have paired to it and how many times you switch between them, because I'm sure that the connection reinitialization, it costs more on the power than just being connected to it already.
But surely,
So
if you can set the brightness for the screen, you can also set the brightness for the backlighting, and that way you can control a bit the longevity of your remote.
of course,
Because you don't need it like super bright blasting in your eyes, right?
but out of all of us that not just that are watching and that are gonna watch this later, are you really gonna be that chafed to spend fucking $17 in Home Depot or whatever for a 24 pack of batteries, AAA's, when you have what would be this amounting to $50,000 worth of equipment in your house? You know what I mean? You don't put regular gas in a Ferrari. It's the same thing. Like, I don't think that I would be that chafed about changing fucking batteries in the remote. And maybe if it was, that it died often enough, people would actually remember how to change the batteries in this remote. So I think that's my final thought, as Jerry Springer would say.
Uh,
What are you looking up?
I'm just making a quick poll.
Poll is. What are you polling? Poland? But yeah, I honestly think that should be. I don't know how many times I've talked about this, but it should be an idea that should be considered. Do a Mark II remote.
I mean, I'm doing very, very B&O answers, right?
Mm.
Because B&O would never ever do a battery other than maybe the Halo that needs to be recharged every 3 days.
But once a month, I would be okay with it, honestly.
Personally, I would be okay once every 2 weeks. Like, surely in a 2-week period, you're going to occasionally set it on there for like an hour or two.
Oh, for the rechargeable.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd be okay with that too.
Because currently, if the theater acts well, let's say take the Harmony, your batteries last a year and a half.
Yeah.
Like, people like me sell their Harmony before their batteries are dead.
Yeah, I don't understand how that doesn't consume as much as the theater, and the theater is just all over the place.
Yeah.
Fucking shit going downtown.
So there's that, right? Like, I'm perfectly happy with charging it once a month, once every 2 weeks. Personally, I wouldn't even mind if it was once a week. Like, if the charging time was quick enough, by that I mean like an hour or two. I mean, you can just, every Sunday before you go to bed, just put it on.
Yeah. And that's it.
Yeah.
Right after the podcast.
We'll set a reminder for you every week. But B&O would never accept that as a premise, right? Like, I think the least they'd go for is 2 weeks. But we're also not asking for, like, I don't know, 100
I'm not looking
lumen
for 1,000
LED.
lumens. Yeah, like, come on. I don't need to, like, light my path to the bathroom with this. I just need that to see the damn buttons better.
I mean, the wireless charging is going to be a problem with the metals.
Yes.
I personally wouldn't even care if it was USB-C on the bottom. Just,
yeah.
I mean, people are okay with Apple mouse or mice, like the thing that you have to put your mouse upside down.
Yeah, you can't use the damn thing while it's charging. So
yeah, so as long as it's in the back, right? Like, it's fine, whatever.
Yeah, but there would be nothing wrong with machining out a little port. Bim, done. So, but anyways, let's.
I mean, if it's a guided track, it could even sit on the USB-C connector, and you don't need anything to really keep it in place.
No, I'd probably do Fogos in there.
Yeah, but
you don't have the hole right to go in.
It's sort of like, was it the Beolab 2000 where you put your iPad essentially on the connector? Or is it the A8?
BeoSound A8, yeah.
Yeah. Where, I mean, nothing really was holding it other than the connector.
And the little screwy back support, which, fuck.
Yeah. But just put some felt in there and it'll be fine.
So, yeah, I would agree that charging cradle would be a best idea. Wireless charging, you would have to change or probably mess with the materials a little bit or make this, I don't know how far through it would go through, but
yeah, and it's not like your connection pins have to be gold plated. You can just get them in silver color, so it's barely noticeable.
Mm-hmm. And that's it.
Yeah, I mean, so it's one of those things, really. It's it seems like most people are okay with charging their remote
once a month or less. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
70% so far says somewhere between 2 weeks and a month for charge is fine. I mean, at some point we'll get to our phones doing that eventually, hopefully.
Sometime.
Where it's like,
Someday.
ooh, I charged my phone in November. It's about that time again.
Fuck.
I mean, that would be nice, right? But
That's
we
what
charge
this
our
used to be.
but we charge our phones all the time. Like,
Oh yeah.
we charge everything all the time. Your iPad, your headphones. I mean, B&O sells a buttload of stuff that needs to be charged to operate.
Yeah.
Somehow it's a no-go for the remote. I don't understand.
No, it makes no sense. It does make no sense.
I mean, or just make a different chassis and make a different remote. I think that's one thing where they can make quite a bit of money fairly quickly, right? Because there are a lot of remote hoarders amongst us.
No, look at Eric. Fuck, he's got every color, right?
Yeah, I think Mr. BeoZip over on the Discord has something like close to 30 remotes. He has every one-off color just about Beo Remote 1, 2, plus all the old remotes, plus every variant of Beo 4.
Wow.
I mean, he
That's
has
a
like
big collection.
this sort of cigar box of BR1s. And
That's
it's every
hilarious.
color, right? And they're not used, they're just collected.
That's funny.
I mean, it's.
But yeah,
I
that's
think
what
he has a
happens, right?
pink one and like the bronze one and the brass
Really?
one. Yeah, and the
That's
90th
cool.
edition and then the 95th or something. Like there's so much. It's unreal.
People collected, man. More than
Yeah.
anything.
Um,
Anyways, let's have people move on with their Christmas lives.
yeah. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas,
Go
everyone.
hassle your local B&O dealer about getting a new remote.
That's right. With the backlit buttons.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to get to my Lego in here, bro.
I still have to build my Saturn V. I just never got around to it.
It's in the box still?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a dirty dog shit shame, man. You should definitely get
Well, I
on that.
bought it, and then we decided to move not long thereafter, and I was sort of like, I'm not going to build it and then take it apart again.
Oh, you could have just wrapped it. It's a Saturn V, bro. It's a rocket. It's solid. Solid state.
You get these sorts of things.
There you go.
Awful port security people that took it out the box and they just dragged it. Like there was a fucking shoe print in the middle of the box.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Did the side panel also get scratched?
One of them.
Yeah.
But that's
figured.
But they literally just did that with it, like not lift it. Like the whole B&O box was crimped on one side. Like they didn't understand how to put the top back on because it's only one way. It's slightly off square.
Mm-hmm.
So they just rammed it back and put some tape over it and said inspected.
Fucking assholes.
Yeah.
Oh well. At least it's there now. It's set. You're good. It's working.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, everybody. We'll be back for the New Year show, I guess.
That's it.
Will we do that on the 31st?
Why not?
I guess we could. It's midday for us.
Yeah, it's, we can go party after that. So that's right. See you all in a week for the last time this year. Bye. Thanks for watching.